Hello YouTubers, welcome to another episode. We've got some wonderful training today and no migraine. So migraine usually completely finishes off with a good night's sleep, which is what happened last night. Absolutely fantastic, but a little bit of a annoyance during the training day yesterday, but that's okay. Got some rowing this morning with Sholto and then maybe some pieces this afternoon, we will see. And then I've got some other meetings as well. So that's an exciting day today. But first things first, get in, get stretched, get changed, and get on the water. Alright. And we've made it to the crew room. We've got a giant queue behind me queuing up for breakfast because Marston's breakfast is so awesome. We've got the breaded egg toast, bagels, eggs, beans, delicious fueling up after the session with Sholto, and then we've got pieces later on for prep for the trials this weekend. Oh yeah! And now we've had some breakfast, we've fueled up, and it's time to go over there for some pieces with Sholto. Oh yeah! And we've finished the pieces at Caversham, absolutely fantastic. Now it's time to fuel up because food is fuel. Yes! But before we get fueling up, we're going to head to the club for some fuel for some Leander Club crew main action. Oh yeah, and I'm going to pick up some stuff for, where did I park? Oh, I parked over there. Have a great day, Will. And let's get to the club. Oh yeah!
Yeah, it's just faces.
And we've made it to the Leander crew room. Oh yeah, and it's good to catch up with the lads and Mary. But now we've got a little bit of a filming adventure later this afternoon, which won't be on the vlog. That's something separate and branching out in the filming stuff. So that's a little bit something different. Hey Ed. Hello. Good to catch up with everybody here at the Leander Club and getting some SFC chicken.
SSE.
Southern fried chicken for for dinner lunch, and then remember, food is fuel. And a lot of people asked questions yesterday about migraines, and so I'm going to be talking about that later on once the filming adventure has finished, because migraines can be fun and not fun. Not fun at all. But a lot of people are interested. But now it is time to fuel up, because once again, food is fuel. So let's get to it. The adventure went quite well. The filming adventure, that is. So that's just me trying to branch out instead of just doing vlogs, just doing sort of the Instagram videos, trying to do other things as well to progress my filming skill, to hone my skill, I would say that is, yeah. But now we're going to discuss a little bit about migraines, so I'm going to put the camera down over here. Okay, so migraines. Migraines, like I said yesterday, are bad. And so mine, they kind of vary for everyone. And if you've had one, you kind of know you've had one. And if you've not, it's kind of difficult to explain. But for me, it's very eye focused, it like affects my eyes quite a bit. So they like get very light sensitive to light, and I know a migraine is coming or starting when if you imagine you look at the sun or like a bright light and it leaves the sort of shadow there for a bit and then you blink a little and it disappears. Well, for me, a migraine's happening when it's as if that's happened but then it doesn't disappear, and it's almost as if it's there and then it just expands over depending on how bad the migraine is, and it could just sort of go over my whole vision, or just part of it, a corner here or there. But I know what's behind, so it's almost as if you hold your hand there. So I know what's behind my hand, but I can't really see it. So I suppose that's one way of describing the aura. That's how the best way to describe the aura is if you've looked at a light for a bit and it doesn't go away. And for me, if I can take sort of ibuprofen or paracetamol quick enough, probably, so I thought it was quick enough yesterday with the migraine, so that was within 5 minutes or so of me noticing the aura, but obviously not. So if I can take the ibuprofen or paracetamol quick enough, it can sort of, once the aura disappears, the headache fades and doesn't actually happen. But sometimes I'm doing something that I don't have access to paracetamol or ibuprofen, or I just forgot to have one some in my bag or something, and then it's like, oh no. So basically the aura expands, then that disappears, and then the headache happens. So for me, like I said, it's very eye affected, so like behind my eyes gets quite painful in my head, and it can be it's painful, and then for me I get very, very nauseous, and then basically I eventually either go to sleep if it's at night time, or I end up feeling really nauseous and throw up. Not pleasant. But solutions for migraines, obviously I really recommend, if you're looking for a solution, talk to a doctor about it, maybe see a specialist about migraines, heads and whatnot, to see if there are solutions. I've tried loads of things, like food diaries, to see if there's a certain trigger. I've cut out a lot of different things at certain different times, because I thought, okay, so the classic triggers are supposedly chocolate, like rich foods, red wine supposedly, but I don't drink red wine, so that doesn't affect me. Coffee can sometimes trigger or inhibit a migraine supposedly, but I don't drink coffee. But there are loads of triggers, and everyone's an individual, so it comes into that. So I haven't found my trigger, I don't think, and I've tried loads of tracking things, and I've tried a lot of sort of methods to say, okay, it was that or it was this. But each time I say, so for example, I was thinking, okay, it's chocolate. So I completely cut chocolate out, and then was still getting migraines. So I now eat chocolate and still get migraines. So haven't really found out what it is. Another solution, I went to speak to a specialist about the migraines himself with a couple of the guys on the team, or at least one other guy on the team who has migraines. So hopefully that's okay. We went to the doctor, the specialist, and he pointed towards one of the nerves that connects to the eyes, and so at the back of the head here, it comes out of the skull. I believe that's how he described it. And sorry if I'm butchering any sort of medical knowledge here, but it comes out the back of the head, and if you have a certain type of migraine, it can sort of really trigger there. So that can be really tense, which then triggers more migraines. So if you can loosen that off, then that can help. But like I said, I'm not a specialist or a doctor or anything, so I recommend going to see one, and hopefully you can track down the solutions to your migraines. But a bit of a different route of the vlog today. So normal training, but usually I finish with some sort of rowing related thing. But there's loads of people concerned. Don't be concerned about the migraines for me. It's usually I keep them under control. Yesterday, like I said, I caught it in time, but it just escalated. It usually doesn't. And also I had a question about on YouTube comments yesterday. Oh, and there was a question yesterday in the comments. I replied to anyway, but if anyone else is interested, I have had a migraine during a race. So it was in the warm up it was one of the Henley, maybe the semi-final in Henley in 2013. Actually, I had a migraine almost to the day 3 years in a row. So I thought it was to do with the summer heat, etc. But I didn't get one this year, thankfully. So the migraine started, the aura happened in the warm-up, and then, well, I was saying, I'm in the boat now, I have no access to ibuprofen and paracetamol. I'm going to have the quickest way down to the finish line is to race, so I'm going to race. It ended up being quite a bad one, but I didn't feel it during the race, so that was good. But let me know in the comments below if you're affected by sort of migraines. Maybe there's some sort of thing we could pin down. But I am fine, and that will be it for the rest of the episode today. So for the rest of the week, we've got training till trials. Trials have actually been moved, so this is invite-only trials for December, and we have fortunately been invited. So the trial happened, it was supposed to be on Saturday, but the weather's supposed to be horrendous, so it's moved to Friday. And it is going to be interesting. So obviously so the trial before in November, nobody from the team was there because they were just back or still back or on their break from the World Championships, and now we get to compete against those guys. So that's really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to the opportunity that I have with Sholto. But that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, a little bit different. And as always, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button and have a good one.